What's up, gang? I think we're live right now. How you doing? August 4th, 11/11. Seems like I was just in the same spot because I kind of was, but I mean, really, like 6 hours ago. But yeah, what's up? I'll be here for probably only 20 minutes till 11:30. Then I got to do some stuff, taking a break from working on the course, the NFL course. That has been a ton of fun. Just dropped a preview over on Twitter. You can get it. It'll be linked up in my profile for a while. You can see the preview here for what's in the course. Definitely, potentially upside for more to come. But yeah, let's talk baseball. We got a 9-game afternoon slate. Finally, some afternoon baseball. I mean, that's why Sleeper Sal says Jabril Patterson. What's up? What's going on, Jabril? Yeah, we got a nice little slate here, and happy to actually have something. What's going on, Brian Anderson? Sup, yo, sup. Because yesterday we didn't get no afternoon baseball for the most part in terms of a realistic slate that we could play. So yeah, it's nice to have it now. Sunday is by far the second best day of the week. Monday is the best day of the week. Once football starts, Sunday will become the best day again. But yeah, it's because of sports. You get afternoon sports, whether it's the NBA or the MLB. So we're happy to have that now. What's going on, P-Ball? What's going on? How did everybody do last night? Yesterday I had back-to-back live streams. Had a pretty solid night. Thanks, man. Yeah. What's up? You made it. Yeah, definitely back-to-back live streams. Trying to take advantage of the time that I have to do them now. Girlfriend's at the gym. Probably have 40 minutes, but I'm just going to do it till 11:30. So get the questions in. Nice night last night. Good to see that. Yeah, had a good night as well. I mean, I had some mini Met stacks, which works with the catcher, Ramos or whoever, having a home run. Had some mini Yankee stacks and main Yankee stacks. That helps when Gleyber Torres was in all of them, and he was popular just in general. But he played really well. And then, yeah, Aaron Nola was the undisputed best pitcher on the slate. The ownership kind of predicted that, but it was a spot where I was fine eating that chalk. Today, I'm fine eating, if there is chalk. I don't know what ownership projections look like yet because I was busy doing other stuff. Haven't even looked. I don't know if anybody else knows. But yeah, I'm going to be playing Justin Verlander. It's as simple as that. I want to see if the run total came out yet for Seattle. I mean, it's not going to really impact anything for me. Okay, so Houston's a 6.1. I figured they'd be a high implied run total. Beautiful. Seattle has the lowest run total at a 3. That makes it a no-brainer for me. I was wondering if they would be close to 4 or not. So the lowest run total at a 3, the lowest we've seen in a while. Yeah, Justin Verlander is going to be similar to what I've been doing lately. Had a good amount of Nola yesterday, not a ton. Have been going really aggressive on my SP1s. I'm probably not going to play 150 lineups. I'll probably play the $68. I'll probably play all the lower stakes, $5 or below single entries and 3 maxes, and I'm going to 100% Justin Verlander into all of them. Is that the right decision? On this slate, I think it is. I'm trying to get as much leverage as I can. What's going on, Bound? What's going on? Out Pone Bale. I'm trying to potentially say that name right. But yeah, I'm going to be going 100% Justin Verlander. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only thing that was holding me back was seeing what Seattle's run line would be. Seeing Seattle's run line at the bottom that we've seen in a summer game, the lowest we've seen in so long at 3. I mean, there's reasons why. They strike out a ton, second highest in the slate on the year, 24.6 since the start of June against righties. And you have Verlander, who even if he's going to give up today a home run, 2 home runs, even if he gives up 3 earned runs, I still feel confident that the guy can get me above 25 to 30 fantasy points. And that's like a bad day for him. The guy's floor, $12,000. I've already had, not today, but in the past, people tell me, oh, you can't go here. He's $12,000. How are you going to fit somebody else? You can make it work. You always can. Batters are cheap, right? You can find cheap bats in the $4,000 to the $3,000 range that have upside to get a pitcher who realistically has like 40-point upside today, in my opinion, and he has a floor of 20 fantasy points. You're hoping that every other pitcher on this slate can get you to 20 fantasy points. You're realistically like starting out at the bottom number of 20 with Justin Verlander in this matchup since he has a strikeout favorable matchup. So that's all that I'm trying to push with that. Let me just... One thing is not coming through for some of my data sheets. I think it's just the innings pitch stuff. So let me just get the innings pitch stuff to pull through. Here we go. Perfect. Let me just update this. If you're interested in how to get data sheets like this, doing this exact same stuff, what this loading stuff means and how it's affecting my sheets, that'll be in the NFL course for some of the NFL stuff, and show you exactly how to make this. There we go. Populated. A new Patreon. Hey, Sean Wolf, appreciate you becoming a Patreon. I don't know if you're watching this, but appreciate you so much. Thank you. Good work, says Joe Huff. What's going on, Joe Huff? How's it going? How many people are in here? I imagine not a ton, right? 13. Yeah, that's what I figure. I mean, it's Sunday. The game, it's an early slate. I mean, definitely West Coast people probably just waking up at 8 a.m. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps people later on in the day. I'll be here for 15 minutes. So if you're watching this right now, ask away with questions. I've had a good amount of research in. Obviously did the morning show, did the article already. Did some other things. I'm watching. What's going on? Yeah, so Lots of stuff that I've already kind of dove into. I feel good about this slate. Still waiting on lineups. Obviously, there's still some running through. I just saw that we got a Twins lineup. Let's see. Astros lineup came in 3 minutes ago. Brewers 7. So within the last 10 minutes, we've gotten most of the lineups. Hayward leading off today for the Cubs. That's definitely an interesting spot. Castellanos is there for the Cubs. Incredible pickup for them. How can I get Verlander in a solid SP2? Yeah. I mean, the solid SP2s on this slate, in my opinion, are Jake Odorizzi and Joe Musgrove. You can try your hand with other SP2s like a Yanni Chirinos, but you're not going to get Verlander. So I think you go to Musgrove or you go to Jake Odorizzi. It's going to be much easier if you go to Musgrove, right? He's $1,600 cheaper, and you can put $1,600 into your bats extra. So I think the most realistic chance of getting to Verlander today is using Joe Musgrove as your SP2. Or Drew Smyly. I don't recommend Drew Smyly today. I think he's a terrible pitcher. But I do believe Musgrove. You're saying Odorizzi's out? Did we get an update that I missed? But either way, I think Musgrove is the main guy to target there. Let's look at this. Let's look at the probable stars. Let's see if they updated the probable stars yet. So Devin Smeltzer is now pitching. Oofa. Okay, Smeltzer. Let's plug Smeltzer in for... Perfect. I'm happy that we're doing this live, actually. Give live updates. Devin Smeltzer. This should publish on through Minnesota versus KCR. Smeltzer's 6,900, so now you have another cheaper end option for a guy who's hot garbage. Jesus. Smeltzer now takes over Drew Smyly as the highest. Yeah, it's got to be Musgrove. The highest hard hit percentage at 48.4 in the slate, gives up over 2 home runs per 9. I get it. He's facing Kansas City, the worst team probably on the slate in terms of generating power. Let's go back to... Yeah, so do you feel a more balanced approach or hedge towards paying up for pitching today? I'm paying up for Justin Verlander. I'm playing 100% of Justin Verlander. Which is probably going to lead me to get to a lot of Joe Musgrove and then just spreading out my exposures on the bottom end a little bit. Don't want to play Adrian Houser, not against the Cubs, who he struggles against lefties a lot, and now already seeing that Hayward is leading off, which is usually the spot for Schwarber anyways. But let me look at this whole Cubs lineup. The fact that Odorizzi is now not on the slate, well, it becomes very clear to me that Joe Musgrove and Yanni Chirinos are the only SP2s that I'm willing to touch today. Mr. Sal, what's up? What's going on? So thanks for notifying me, Jabril, that Odorizzi was out. When I do these shows, at least for YouTube, and do my initial analysis at 6 a.m., usually it stays the same. Lance Simpson says smile. I'm not going to Drew Smyly. He's hot garbage. I get it. He would be the fade for me at pitching. I much prefer Joe Musgrove today. I understand. That his matchup is better, at least in theory, right? The White Sox are hot garbage against righties, the 127 ISO since June 1st, 26.7% strikeout rate, but Smyly is a lefty. Again, they're not great against lefties. A 168 ISO, though, it starts to come up. Now they are a much better hitting team against lefties since the start of June than other teams on the slate, like the Orioles. They're very comparable to the Royals. They're better than the Cubs, believe it or not. They're better than Miami. They're better than Cincinnati. All these different teams, even Tampa Bay since the start of June. So... Or Pittsburgh, not Tampa Bay, against lefties. So they're actually, for this slate, closer to middle of the pack than being hot garbage at generating power against lefties. And they strike out 24.6% of the time, which is not great. It's definitely high, but it's not nearly as high as the 26.7% against lefties. It's a big difference, that 2% difference or so. So, yeah, Drew Smyly, he's terrible. I don't care that he's had recent DraftKings success in the past start or two. He's hot garbage. He has a 47.4% hard hit percentage, 2.66 home runs per 9, 12.5 walk percentage. And it's not even that he's hot garbage and that people are looking at his 2 recent stats and now are automatically thinking he's great. I get it. I get the matchup too. I'm following every single thing as to why everybody likes him. But he's going to be heavily owned. Why do you want to pitch a very clearly his 5.24 Sierra is the second highest on the slate, only behind Sean Reed Foley. Clearly a pitcher who's poor. Like, it's not even like he's getting unlucky. He's just extremely poor at pitching. And now you have the fact that he is going to be highly owned. So what is your leverage there? I mean, he's cheap. He's not going to go out there and dominate, or at least I don't think so. And if he does, he's highly owned. So I think that there's way more possibilities and a way bigger upside that a guy like Drew Smiley fails today, and I think he does more so than not, even in this matchup. And the ownership is indicating as if he's going to go out there and score 20 plus DK points or 15 plus DK points like it's nothing, or every other single thing about him other than his matchup and price is terrible. So yeah, I actually do like the White Sox a little bit more in terms of hedging that. I think Smiley's really bad. I'd rather go to Joe Musgrove, who the matchup is not as good, but I think he's just a more consistent pitcher overall. Caleb Smith, let's see. Caleb Smith and Chirinos. Yeah, I think Smith is more of like a contrarian type of play up there. I'm not sure what ownership is. I already said that. But yeah, I mean, he has a strikeout upside. The problem with Caleb Smith is that he gives up a ton of power to righties. The benefit is that this Tampa Bay team is built on lefty hitting just in general, right? You have Meadows, you have Lau, you have Jim Min Chow, you have all these guys. It's really just Tommy Pham from the right side of the plate for the most part. Kiermaier is going to be lefty. So there's a ton of lefties in the lineup, so that helps when he gives up less power to lefties. I think Tommy Pham is a fantastic one-off against Caleb Smith, just putting that out there as well. But Smith and Chirinos, that's fine. That's how you'll kind of be able to go more balanced in a way at pitcher. The only problems with Smith that I don't like is that Tampa Bay does have power. I get it. He's going to get a lot of lefty-on-lefty matchups that'll help him out. But you're paying $10,600 for a pitcher who only has a 27.5% ground ball rate, the lowest on the slate by 2 percentage points, not great, and gives up a lot of power. So it's a lot of risk. I understand that Verlander also gives up power, but he's a guy who is just levels above in terms of strikeout rate, almost 4% higher strikeout rate than Caleb Smith, and he has a much better strikeout matchup. What stacks are you liking today, Sal? I mean, Houston, Toronto, and why can't I think of the other stack? Houston and Toronto are probably the two top ones that I'm looking at. The Phillies are up there. The Indians are up there. And then I think the Marlins are just interesting. I think the Marlins, even though Chirinos is a good option today at pitching, I also think the other side of that, the Marlins, their most expensive batter is Brian Anderson at $3,900 today. You can continue to beat a dead horse with Starlin Castro at $3,000, right? Probably batting in the middle of that lineup. So I think the Marlins are also interesting. I think the White Sox are decent leverage off of Drew Smiley. But that's just because my stance is that I think he's terrible and I'm not playing him. Jimmy Yacobonis is just the opener for Baltimore. So what do I think about him? Don't play him. He's going to pitch one inning. He is the opener. Tom Eshelman is going to be the probable long reliever, I believe, there. So, yeah, do not play Jimmy Yacobonis. He's going to pitch one inning, and he's not good. So if you're fading Verlander for salary relief, the next three guys are so closely priced. Do you have a preference of Smith, Syndergaard, and Bieber? Yeah, it's Caleb Smith. Between Smith, Bieber, and Syndergaard, it's Caleb Smith. I don't ever pitch pitchers against the Angels, especially when they're $10,900, because the Angels strike out 18.5% of the time. Do you know how little that is? It's very, very little. And then not only that, but he gives up hard hit contact. The Angels are a powerful team. It's just not something I want to spend $10,900 on. And then Noah Syndergaard, facing Pittsburgh, they rarely strike out. They're striking out 17.8% of the time since the start of June against right-handed pitching. Noah Syndergaard's strikeout stuff has kind of disappeared this season, right? Only 20% against lefties, 27.4% is a step down from years past against righties. I'm not getting to Syndergaard at $10,500. I think he's usually a safe play because he works deep into the games, but I'm not getting there just due to the fact that his opponent never strikes out. So I'm not going there. I get it. All of them have faults. Caleb Smith has his own faults in terms of home run upside, but I do like the fact that Caleb Smith, if you're not getting to Verlander, does have a lot of lefty-lefty matchups in the Tampa Bay lineup, probably 5 today, and Tommy Pham would be the only main threat from the right side of the plate that I would be scared of for Caleb Smith today. In theory, I'd love to play high-priced pitchers, but to get to the bats, I want to get uncomfortable in spots. You have to. I mean, I'm always a believer that a top-end pitcher and a low-end pitcher, and it's proven. It's almost 30% of the time when you pair a stud with a sort of a shitty end pitcher or just a mid or a lower price pitcher. Well, lower price, not mid. 30% of the time that wins the tournament lineups. That might not sound like a lot, but it's by far the highest over the next strategy of pairing two mid-range pitchers, pairing two bottom end, pairing two top end. It's by far the highest by almost 10 percentage points. So Roto Grinders did analysis on that recently. So yeah, I am always that proponent of doing that, especially on a slate like this where you have a quality pitcher in Joe Musgrove. I mean, he's not bad. He's not great. He's an average pitcher. He has a 24% strikeout rate at 6,200. He's not favored to win today. The Mets are not any Marlins or Detroit or White Sox or Royals type of team, but they're also not the Astros. This is an average spot for an average pitcher, and he's 6,200 with average strikeout stuff. Usually don't find that far down there, but it's not even about him, right? It's about the guy up top, Justin Verlander, who literally at the bottom end is going to get you 20 fantasy points today, and at the top end is going to push 50 fantasy points, usually when he faces teams that strike out, like Seattle, who has the second highest strikeout rate on the slate overall. So yeah, and it's also, you also have to take into account the rest of the slate. Where else are you going today? You want to go to Yanni Chirinos, who has a 20% strikeout rate? I think he's fine because of his matchup against Miami, but he also gives up a lot of power to righties, and Miami's going to only roster righties today, and he's 8,600, so you're getting no strikeout upside. So if the guy gives up any power, it's hard for him to get back from that because he doesn't strike guys out to make up for it. And then I don't know where else you're going. So yeah, I mean, Caleb Smith and Yanni Chirinos is a fine pairing. I think there's much more upside in Verlander and Musgrove. Much more upside, and honestly, I think there's less risk just because of Caleb Smith and Yanni Chirinos' lack of upside and Caleb Smith's home run prone. So yeah, Odorizzi out, says Bill Biller. I guess so. Somebody said that, and then I saw on Roto Grinders that Smelter is starting regardless. It just, what it does is it just pulls Odorizzi out for me. Obviously, if he's not playing, but it's just going to pull now Devin Smelter also out. Devin Smelter's a terrible pitcher. Makes Kansas City a little bit more attractive. He gives up a ton of power overall. So more people should be liking this video. The man Sal is helping you with some good information. Press the like button. Yeah, press the like button. Press the subscribe button mainly. Also, I will continue to say, just at the beginning, I usually do at the beginning of each video, Wilson Contreras on the 10-day deal. That if you do want to donate to the channel, you can during these live streams. There is a button that has a $sign by the chat sign. It is Super Chat, just notifying people that that is there. And then, yeah, if you want to sign up for the NFL DFS course, it's free to sign up. I just linked a preview in my Twitter profile right here. It's just showing you what's all in the course. And this is at a minimum. There's a chance that I add more things into the course. So this is at a minimum. I just posted this 18 minutes ago. It's going through every single lesson of it. So cool. Turan been good lately, or Julio Turan? Yeah, good lately is recency bias for me. I haven't seen anything in his stuff to make me feel like he actually has changed anything. He still has a 5 Sierra, still walking a ton of guys, still has no strikeout stuff. And I get it, the matchup is favorable, but they also don't strike out a ton. Only 23% of the time is not enough for me to jump up and down to pay $8,000 flat for Julio Turan today. But he is one of those guys that kind of hides in the mid-range. The Atlanta Braves lineup today is so terrible that it makes me want to play Sonny Gray at 8,100. Atlanta has been the hottest team in the league since the start of July, 224 ISO against right-handed pitching. So it's scary. It's very scary, but Sonny Gray is in a spot today where it's not the same Atlanta lineup that you're used to. So that could be sort of your sneaky mid-range option. I think I might prefer Sonny Gray over Yanni Chirinos today because there's just way more upside in Gray. There's a little more risk because of the matchup, of course, Atlanta compared to Miami, but it's a little bit more reduced when you take into account the lineup that Atlanta put out there today. So I think kind of a sneakier play, if I was to update the article right now, would be, and I do want to look at the lineup for Atlanta just to make sure that I'm saying this right, but it would be Sonny Gray today. Can I pair Sonny Gray with Justin Verlander? Yeah, I sure can. Is it going to be hard to? Yeah, you're damn right it is. So, yeah, Sonny Gray's in an interesting spot for sure. I'm gonna look at that lineup. Pay up for Trout against Bieber. I'm not getting to any Angels, honestly, so no, I'm probably not gonna get to Trout in a one-off spot. I can't afford it today. Not that interested. Bieber doesn't give up a ton of power to righties. So if you had to pick one must-have and one value play, who would you be your two players? Fabiano, for what? Does that mean position-wise? I don't really care for position-wise. I'm just stacking teams. I'm stacking a 5-man team and then some one-offs. If you're talking about pitching, Justin Verlander, I'm getting 100%. A value play that I like the most in terms of below $7,000 is Joe Musgrove. And those are pretty obvious plays, but I'm fine with it. Why do you like the Marlins? I like the Marlins because they're cheap. It's just a pricing function. I like the Marlins because they're cheap, and Yanni, I don't like stacking all 5 of them, but I think there's upside in taking 2 to 3, even just one-offs. The most expensive guy is $3,900, and Yanni Chirinos gives up all of his power that he gives up is to righties. There's going to be 8 to 9 righties in the lineup today. So I think there's upsides there for the Marlins. Chirinos doesn't strike guys out, even though the Marlins strike out. So there'll be more contact than usual today for those righty bats, and he gives up a lot of power to righty bats. So if I'm going to get a cheap stack, I think it makes a little sense. I'm not trying to force it because it's cheap, but I think there's things there that do make sense. For a GPP, I'm thinking of taking a few Mets against Musgrove and going to Lopez against Philly. Mets did great in the first time. How crazy am I here? I mean, I don't think you're crazy to not want to go to Musgrove and kind of stack against him because he does give up power, right? In terms of ISO, not a lot of home runs, but power. I think Ronaldo Lopez is garbage. I think he's had 1 or 2 decent starts this year, and now he's going to be in Philly in a summer game in the afternoon where it's going to be, 90 degrees and humid. So, yeah, I'm not getting to know Ronaldo Lopez. I'm not going to say it's crazy because anything can happen, but if you kind of see earlier in the year when he had a 29% strikeout rate and everybody was on him, he's regressed against righties a lot. He's at 25% now. He gives up so much power. I haven't seen this guy have a good start in a while. Maybe his last time out. I don't know what he did his last time out, but yeah, I'm not going to get to Ronaldo Lopez. I don't think there's really any upside there personally. There's going to be like 3 or 4 lefties in this lineup. He strikes out 25% of righties, which is meh. It's okay, right? Especially for the price point, but he doesn't strike out any lefties. Gives up power to both sides of the plate. Philly, their righties in their lineup are not like normal righties. They do make contact. They're a pesky team, and you have Kingery, you have Rhys Hoskins. These guys do have a lot of power as well from the right-handed side, which is where Lopez does give up power as well as to the left side. I actually like Philly a lot as a stack. But I don't think you're crazy to not want Musgrove. I'm just saying that he's a guy that I like in that range compared to everybody else below $7,000. Everybody else below, honestly, $8,000 now. There's no Jake Odorizzi. Whew. All right, gang. That's it. That's where I'm at. Just as one-offs, you said. I have some listed in the article, one-offs. I can't think of any off the top of my head in terms of must-haves or cheap guys. I don't think there's any must-have one-offs ever. If you're having a stack, I think there's must-haves within your stack. In cheap end guys, a lot of the Miami guys in terms of cheap will be value today. There'll be some guys you can find in the White Sox lineup as leverage value pieces. But outside of that, I'm not too much. I'm not honestly too much like memorable of what the standout guys are because I'm just building my lineups around high upside one-offs. So when I say high upside one-offs, a lot of them aren't that cheap values and must-haves. I don't really get to must-haves for my one-offs. It's just powerful guys. So that's a tip that I'll give you is if you're stacking guys, stack them, get the 4 or 5 man stack. And then when you're doing one-offs, whether it's 3 or 4, 3, 1, and you only have one off, just look for powerful guys that if you have a chalky build already are not that chalky or a little bit different because of their price or just because they have a tough matchup. And if you're already different with your pitching or stack, well, then just play the chalky Mike Trout or whoever it might be. There's no specific guys that I want to point out right now because there's really none. Whatever's in the article is what I would go with. But that's about it. Do you stack in a particular order? Not necessarily. I do look for the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters if I'm 5-man stacking, right? The one hitter is automatically starting off with nobody on base, so he can't contribute unless he hits a solo home run for run production. But no, not particularly. If there's cheap guys in the 7 or 8 hole, I'll get to them, especially if they have power. But I'm not playing 7, 8, and 9 hitters that don't have power. I'm not playing them just because they're $2,800. If you can't hit a home run like half of the Tigers lineup right now, which they don't play right now, but just I'm saying in general, since they traded Castellanos and some other pieces, then I'm not getting to you. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ideally. Lots of the times you can't get that because of either pricing or there's 2 first basemen in the lineup technically, so you can't fit them in your lineup. But getting to the 7 hitter, the 1 hitter, those things are all fine, right? In higher order, the better, more at-bats. Ideally 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but again, it's all a factor of what else you can fit with your other spots. Is your 7, 8, 9 hitters, do they have power? Because I'm fine getting there. It's not ideal to get to the 8 and 9 hitters and even the 7 hitter because they're likely not going to have that 4th or 5th at bat compared to the 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters and be up with potential run production since they have good players in front of them. But I'm not picky in a lineup. If the run total is high enough, I'll go anywhere. If the run total is lower, it's going to be the middle of the order. CJ Cron bats 7th. Is he a good option? Yeah, he bats 7th in a Minnesota Twins lineup that has a 6 implied run total today. So he's definitely fine. He's not a guy that I would fade because he's batting 7th. That's a situation where it's a high run total on a good team. I don't think I'm personally not playing any Twins stacks today. It could bite me in the butt, but I think Brad Keller is one of the best players in the league right after he comes off of giving up 3 home runs. But aside from that, I think he's one of the best pitchers in the league on the season at limiting home run damage. 0.84 home runs per 9 is by far the highest on the slate or the best on the slate. Huge ground ball pitcher. I'm not stacking a Twins team that, I get it, they have a ton of power, I understand, but this pitcher has been limiting teams like the Astros, like the Yankees, from realizing any power in games. So I understand the total's high, but I want home runs and I want to attack pitchers who give up home runs in my stacks. All right, that's it, gang. It's 11:34. I was going to stay until 11:30. Went a little bit over. I got to make some food. Wow, Felix Pena tore his ACL. I didn't know that happened, but there you go. Felix Pena is dead with a torn ACL. RIP to him. And yeah, that'll be it for right now. You can sign up for the NFL course. Tons of people have since I kind of put that up there. Oh, shit, I never made the article free on Patreon. I said that it was free, and it's still not free. Hold on. Huh. Did I really do that? That's funny. This is where you can get the article. I can't believe I didn't make it free. It's not like it's important. We have an hour and a half till lock. Public. Everybody can go see this article for free now. Let me answer this guy. Villar, Bo Bichetti, whatever his name is, have 2 other J's. Yeah, then definitely continue to get as many J's as you can if you're already stacking 2. Great contact as usual. Thanks, Al. Yeah, no problem, Irrational. Zach, make sure if you guys are interested in the NFL DFS course, go to my YouTube. Any of these descriptions, not this one, but any of the other ones here. I can post a link in the chat right now. Make it really easy for you. You can go here and you can sign up. It's totally free to sign up with your email. I will notify you in like 5 days once the course is done. That's the link right there. You can go to it. Rosario or Puig? Who do the Reds play again? Cincinnati against Atlanta. Atlanta is throwing out there Tehran. Tehran doesn't give up any power. So righties, some power to lefties. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys, so more contact for a guy. Wait, why am I thinking Cincinnati? Puig is not on Cincinnati anymore. I think I go Rosario there, even though I don't think there's much home run upside. I think he's just more consistent. Still thought Puig was on Cincinnati. All right. Cool. You said it should be good. Thoughts on pitchers? Smeltzer for the Twins? Oh God, no. Yeah, don't pitch Smeltzer today. He's terrible. He's really bad. I get it that the matchup is really, really good against Kansas City, one of the worst teams in the league since the start of June, overall in a lot of areas. But he gives up the highest hard hit percentage on the slate, over 2 home runs per 9, doesn't strike batters out from the right side of the plate, which is going to be primarily what he faces against Kansas City outside of like Alex Gordon today. Gives up a ton of power to each side. Yeah, no, Devin Smeltzer, he's hot garbage. The matchup is really good, but it's not like he's $5,000. He's also pushing $7K. I'd rather have Joe Musgrove. All right, peace out, gang. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This laptop's about to die. See ya. Get out of here. Get out of here. How many people do we have? 38 people watching live. Appreciate all of you. Peace.